What is up, YouTubers and lovers of budget cars and bikes? Welcome back to what will no doubt be the last video for 2020. And I won't be sad to see the arse end of 2020, as I'm sure most of us won't be, and hope that 2021 is going to bring some better times for us all. Anyway, I digress. What have we got? A 2013 Vauxhall Astra J 2-litre Cdti SRI. There's a big mouthful of letters and numbers there. I didn't actually realise when I bought this that it was the SRI. I just thought it was the 2-litre diesel version of the Astra J with the turbo and 160 horsepower, etc, etc, and I love the look of it as well. I mean, I've been looking at these Astras for a fair amount of time because they do offer great value for money. I mean, if you've seen any of my other videos on Vauxhalls, generally speaking, the Corsas, etc, I just feel that they go offer great value for money for a car that actually looks far better than some of its parts in that respect. I mean, this, we'll talk about prices in a minute. This is another one of my auction buys that, if you look up in the top right hand corner here, I'll link in some of the other stuff I've done as well, because by now there should be, I imagine, the BMWs up there, the Seat Leon is up there as well, and maybe a Vauxhall Astra, and then this, well, the Astra H is probably up there as well by now, but this is the Astra J, obviously the updated version, which I did want to try. And as I said, this popped up relatively local at my local auction house, as it were, and I got it for a princely sum of £1,620. Obviously, you've got to add all your fees in on top of that, so it came into me at just over £1,880, I think it was, something like that, with the delivery, the VAT, the auction house fees, the loading fee, all that kind of crap that they just throw in on top just because they can, you know. So I think it was just under 1,900 quid. Now, this is 91,000 miles, 2 owners, 2013, as I said, the 2-litre SRI Cdti. Now, you know I'm not a great lover of diesel engines, but I wanted to give this one a try. There wasn't much else going on, and to be quite honest, I hadn't bought anything for a while, so I thought, well, let's have a look at this one. You know, it's the shape I like. It's got the nice fat wheels on it. It's in relatively good condition. Now, if you want to see what this looked like before, then check out my Instagram page as well. You might notice, as I've just noticed down here, a few little indiscretions. I did try to polish all this out the other day, and I think I left some polish on this, so that's actually not damage per se. It's not swirls in the paint per se. It's just where I didn't polish it out. Now, somebody's about to walk straight past us now while we're in the middle of making this video, and I've had to come out on this ridiculously muddy day. So all the hard work that I've done trying to keep this car clean has now gone down the toilet because it's a horrible day here in Cornwall. Anyway, back to the car. Yeah, this came up, as I said, at a local auction house, £1,900. I got a little bit distracted there because that geezer was walking along there, and I don't like them listening to me. As I said, the damage now on this car, let's talk about that for a little bit, because unfortunately, excuse me staggering around, there's bloody brambles everywhere. Unfortunately, I didn't see what you may have already spotted, which is this little bit over here. Now, as we get closer, you'll see it's there. It's pretty obvious, but you could not see that in the photographs when it was online at the auction at the time, so I had no idea about that. I knew, as I said, if you look at my Instagram account, you'll see there the pictures of it as it came in. I knew that this bumper here was mullered. It was completely gone. I didn't know that this tailgate was also all across here, was smashed in. I don't know if that's because it was white and the light was reflecting off it that I didn't notice it. I mean, I went back and had a look through the pictures again after I spotted it when it arrived, and it is so difficult to see. I mean, if you really knew that it was there, then you'd see it, but there was no way to see it. So do watch out for that. If you're going to buy a white car from salvage, you know, really look at the pictures, because I didn't budget for a new tailgate. That will probably come out. I don't believe that's cracked the paint or anything like that. That would probably come out with one of those dent repair guys. I'm not going to bother because it's not big enough dent for me to worry about. You can kind of barely see it really when you look down the sides of the car. The car itself, generally speaking, is in lovely condition. Not really any stone chips, no scratches, nothing like that. Obviously, we've replaced this bumper here, and we've replaced the tailgate. The bumper was a bit of a bloody nightmare because I ordered it off eBay to arrive about 2 weeks ago, and 4 days after it arrived I was saying to the guys, look, where's the bloody bumper, because I hadn't realised that the boot lid also needed replacing, and they said, oh sorry, we realised it had a scratch or a crack all the way along the bottom here, so here's your money back. I'm like, well, that's great, I've waited 2 weeks for a bumper that's not actually going to bloody arrive. So I bit the bullet and I found another company on eBay, Salvage Yard, and they gave me the tailgate and the bumper for 210 quid, which I thought, that's shipped as well, so I thought that was pretty good. That included the lights, all the wire and the electrical bits. It was a bit of a bitch to fit the boot lid, if I'm honest, because I had to try and work out a way to get in behind here, because you've got to pull all this out, then there's a couple of bolts that hold all this crap in here, and then the wire, the plug wire, is actually right down deep in there, but then it just loops up through here, so you just pull it out, and then it's literally 4 bolts, 2 there and 2 there. I held it up on my head while I got somebody to put a bolt in each side, and then just lined it up, and that was that. And it's in, and as you can see, it looks fine now. The only issue, which actually, it did have this issue when I bought the car. It comes up on the vehicle check, rear hatch open, warning, rear hatch open. I thought, okay, well that's probably because of the old hatch has got a bit of a kink in it or something. Put the new hatch on, still there. Cleared the codes, nothing really there, or rather checked the codes, there's nothing there. I cleared them anyway, nothing there. It's still there. It's pissing me off because it just says rear hatch open all the time. I imagine I will have sorted that out by the time you guys see this video, but if you do know what that was, then drop it in the comment section for the guys that maybe are having the same problem, because I haven't worked it out yet. It's on my to-do list. The other thing also is I assumed that all these bumpers for these Astra Js in white would be the same for this year. No, the exhaust tip here doesn't quite fit. As you can see there, I've got to cut out some more of that, use my Dremel to cut out a little bit more of that because it's rattling a little bit, and I've had to use my original back kind of scuttle rubber bit there, because the one that came with this bumper was different, completely different mountings, everything was completely bloody different. Luckily, the mounting points for the bumper itself were fine, you know, it just slotted straight in, so that's not a problem. It's not the best fit in the world because it's had a crunch, you know, it's a tiny little bit sticking out there, but I mean, would you really notice that? You know, it's not like it came from the factory, but it is getting on for 8 years old, this car, you know. Anyway, that was the guts of the damage. It was categorised as a Cat S structural damage. Now, that's because just behind this bumper here, there's what's called a crash bar that goes right across here. That was completely smashed as well. Again, you'll see that on my Instagram pictures if you take a look at that. That was replaced. That was 20 quid shipped, so you can't argue with that. So call it under 250 quid. This car has been completely taken back to as it should be. Now, I'm just looking now to make sure that I've got that boot lid actually centered as it should be. No, that's not the reason why it's giving me the hatch open message. Anyway, I will get to the bottom of it. The rest of the car, let me make sure I'm not going to get run over. Lovely condition, as I said. There's no scratches, there's no dents apart from that one on the opposite side. It's generally in a really, really good condition. I don't like diesels, as you know, but it's quick. It's real quick. 160 horsepower, little turbo, and it flies along. And it's got so much technology inside as well. Cruise control, stop-start technology. It's got the lovely honeycomb kind of grille at the front there. Daytime running lights. It did have advisories for tyres and discs and pads, I believe, but again, it's got an MOT until August next year, August 2021, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to let somebody else deal with it, because at the moment, this car stands me in at roughly 2,100 quid. Now, that's buying it, getting it to my house, putting a new tailgate on it, putting a new bumper on it, and fixing any other tiny little bits that need sorting out, which there wasn't any, if I'm honest. It looks like it's had new calipers at the back as well, although the carrier there looks completely buggered. I don't know what the history of this car is, obviously, because it came from a salvage auction, but interior wise, as usual, the rear seats, little bit grubby. I might give those a little wipe down, but it came with the Overmax as well, as you can see from Network Q. Nice place to be. 6-speed manual, nice kind of figure hugging seats here. I mean, if I'm honest, the interior is a little bit complex. I mean, you've got so much going on. If I get the keys out a second, then I'll switch all this on for you, and you might even see the message about the rear hatch, which is peeing me off. So as you can see, 1,000 different lights. It's doing its check thing now, and it still says rear access open, which is pissing me off. Anyway, you've got all this stuff going on in here. You've got eco modes and all sorts of other stuff which I haven't checked out, but as I said, you've got the cruise control with the steering wheel controls, all sorts of stuff going on there. I mean, you can check number plate lights on as well, because I put LED bulbs in there, because one of them was gone and I didn't have any others, so I just put the LED on there. But you can just get rid of this just by pressing this menu button a couple of times, and then it gives you all the info. miles per gallon, around about 55 miles to the gallon, which I think for a 2-litre diesel isn't bad at all, to be honest, because this thing, as I said, it bloody flies along. It does not hang about. Now, this is a bit of a bugger to open up this bonnet here. I'll see if I can do it one-handed for you. Let's have a little look. There we go. That's the one. So, the Ecotec 2-litre diesel turbo engine. It doesn't make any horrible noises. It starts on the button. There's the daytime running lights, as you would expect, although not LED, which did surprise me, if I'm honest. I would have expected to see that. But as I said, let me just take these keys out a sec. A lovely little place to be. I have no problem, well, I would have no problem going on a nice long journey in this car. It also came with 2 keys, which is bloody unusual for a salvage car, but great for me. And another thing, I just remembered it then as we closed the door. It just closes so nicely, more like a Beamer, a Mercedes, something like that, you know. I think it's a handsome car, if I'm honest, very handsome. And all that, and maybe, realistically, if you take out the work that was finding the parts, realistically, a morning's work to fit a new tailgate, a new bumper, and 210 quid. As I said, it owes me around about 2,100 quid so far. I'm going to put this up at 26.50, 26.95, with a view to getting 25 for it. And I think £2,500 for a 2013 2-litre SRI Cdti diesel Vauxhall Astra J with all the toys and all the rest of it, £2,500. I think that's a bargain. The only thing I want to get sorted out is obviously that rear hatch message there. I'm going to head home now and I'm going to Google the arse out of that and see if I can find out what's going on with that. Maybe it's something I done, because it has had a replacement tailgate, but as I said, he was doing it when it arrived. Maybe the catch here, maybe that needs moving left, right or something, but I wouldn't think it would make that much difference because it's locked. I mean, it ain't bloody going anywhere. Solid. And the only other thing I've got to do is just cut a little bit out for that tailpipe there, and I've got to remember to put the 2 little rubber pins that hold the bottom of that in, because as you drive along you can actually hear it flapping about, because I forgot to put them in. As I said, that bit there I'm not going to worry about because it's so inconsequential, and there is a tiny little one there as well, which again I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to be a very cheap, economical, fast, lovely looking 4-door or 5-door saloon for someone. £2,500, I think it's a bloody bargain. When you consider I got nearly 1,900 quid for the red BMW, and it's a completely different ball game. The luxury inside here and the technology compared to that is just night and day, you know. So for an extra 600 quid, I think I know which one I'd be going for. Parts cheaper, obviously. I couldn't tell you about reliability. I've not had it long enough, but generally speaking, Vauxhalls are pretty good. Nowadays, you're looking at 10 years or 100,000 miles for the cam belt change. This is on 91,000 miles, and it's a 2013, so plenty of time left for that. If I was keeping it, though, saying that, I would do the cam belt, because why wouldn't you? It's about 250 quid. It's a piss easy job. I've actually seen it done on video. There's loads of access. The belts themselves are about 100 quid. That's including the water pump, the pulleys, the tensioners, everything else. So you can get a garage to do that for 3 hours, say another 150 quid. So 250 quid would get you a brand new cam belt, another 100,000 miles. If I was keeping it, I'd definitely do it, I got to say. Now, you may have spotted that little indiscretion where it says 1.7. I haven't changed the numbers over. So well spotted if you spotted that. And that'll be it. I've got to fix that bumper, get rid of that message, change those numbers, and this will be going up for sale. Anyway, any questions, any comments, anything like that? If you've got one of these, if you've got any bloody information about that, I'll be interested to see it, and so will the other subscribers as well. If you like the video, do consider subscribing and giving the video a thumbs up as well. It's always appreciated. And look out for another video in 2021. I'm sure there's going to be plenty coming on as well. If you've been wondering where the motorcycle videos are, I do apologise. I haven't been able to source any decent motorcycles that I wanted over the last 3 or 4 months. I can blame that on COVID, I guess. I don't know what's going on. I just haven't been able to find a bike that I want, or that is cheap enough, or is local enough, or whatever. You know, the only thing I can find that I'm interested in is at dealers, and I can't afford to pay dealer prices. But obviously we will get another bike very, very soon, so look out for that if you're interested in your bikes as well. And as I said, consider subscribing if you haven't, and give the video a thumbs up. It's always appreciated. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great Christmas, great New Year, and I will see you in 2021. All right, thanks for watching. Take care now.